Hey guys, Alex here with Mobius Venture. This video is going to be part 3 of our decal series where we look at getting rid of some of the air bubbles in the decal that are left over from when you installed it. Let's go ahead and take a look. So if you watched our previous video, part 2 in our decal series, you saw that our decal has bubbles in it. Now, it's been a few weeks since we did that video when we installed our decals, and a lot of the tiny bubbles have gone away. Whether they've diffused through the vinyl or the sun has just shrunk the vinyl down so that it's really compressed those, I don't know. But a lot of the small ones are gone, but you can still see some of these big ones, okay? And so that's what we're going to work on today. Now, on our back sticker back here, if you remember, there were also quite a few bubbles in this guy, but I don't think there's a single one left. I can't really see any bubbles, and there's a little bit of a scratch there. That's actually from where I was trying to flatten it out when we put it on. But there are no bubbles left on this decal. So the sun, the heat, whatever it is, I maybe see just one teeny tiny one right there. But the sun has pretty much taken care of all the bubbles on this. The heat from the sun has taken care of it. So we're good on that one. That decal doesn't really have any bubbles on it. And the one that was over here on this side, if you remember from our video, never really had many bubbles to begin with. There was one here and one down there, and we flattened those out, and the sun took care of the rest, so that one's solid as well. So that just leaves us with this big guy up here. And today we're going to work on getting some of these bubbles out. So let's get to it. So if you watched our second video in the decal series, I said in that video that you could come at this and hit these bubbles with a little needle or pin and flatten them out. And I said that I didn't really want to do that, but at this point, there's really not many options left. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. We've got a little needle, little teeny tiny, and we've got a gift card for flattening out, Panda Express, good food. And so we're going to use those to flatten out these bubbles. Now, I've tried to angle the camera here so that you can see the bubbles. I know it's hard because they're black and the sun and the reflection, things like that. But we've got a bubble here, we've got a bubble here, and we've got a bubble here. I can see a few more from my point of view, but those are the ones that I can see on the camera. So those are the ones we're going to work on here in the video. So what we're going to do, we'll maybe work on this guy first. So what we're going to do, it's fairly self-explanatory, but we're going to take our needle and we're just going to poke a little hole and just scrape that air out and flatten that vinyl down. Now, a couple of things about this is, number one, you do not want to poke straight down with this needle because two reasons. Number one, most important, you could scratch the paint on the vehicle and you don't want to do that. Then you have a rust spot that'll appear and all kinds of extra stuff. So you don't want to do that. You want to come at it from the side. Now, the second reason why you want to do that is in the hopes, it may work, it may not, but in the hopes that if we poke it on the side and then flatten it out, then that hole will kind of squish when we flatten it down. If you poke it straight down, then it's going to be more obvious that there's a hole there. But if we poke it on the side, hopefully that hole that we use to poke will collapse and you won't really see it. So we're going to go ahead and first, I'm just going to scrape this guy and see. Yeah, so get kind of all that air into one spot, and then we're going to poke with our needle. And of course, you just want to be gentle. All right. And then we're just going to squeeze that air out and flatten it out. And that's pretty much it as far as the method for how we're going to do this. Okay. And you could probably sit here and work on flattening out that that out for a minute. It's been bubbled for a week or two now, so it's kind of used to being bubbled, so just give that a minute to flatten out. We'll go ahead and work on this one down here. So again, at first I'm just gonna scrape it or flatten it and just kind of get the air in one spot. The bubbles have shrunk down a little bit, and so because the bubbles aren't real large, it's kind of hard to poke a hole in it unless you kind of have all the air in one spot and it kind of bulged up. It gives you a little bit more of an angle when you're coming at it from the side. If you were poking it straight down, it probably wouldn't be an issue, but again, we don't want to do that. We don't want to scratch the paint. So just kind of getting all that air in one little pocket and then poking it. There we go. And then just squeezing it out, squeezing that air out. And once you flatten it out, it may still look a little kind of bubbled up just because, like we said a moment ago, it's been bubbled up for a little while. But once there's room for that air to escape, then the heat should take over from the sun, and over time it should flatten out completely, just like how it got rid of some of those small bubbles. That's pretty much it as far as the method for how to do this goes. So we're gonna go ahead and keep working on some of these, but we'll go ahead and cut the video here. All right, so it has been a few weeks, probably 3, maybe 4 weeks since we took out the bubbles here, and we're just putting this video in with the others. So from that last segment that you just watched, it's been about a month since then, and you can see that there's really no bubbles left. The sun has taken care of any residual air from where we popped those bubbles, and they are gone. I can see just right here, you can see the pinprick, but it is basically not noticeable. I mean, it's so minor that, I mean, you're just not going to see it unless you're looking for it. I'm trying to remember where some of the other bubbles were that we popped, and I'm having a hard time finding them, which is good. I mean, that's excellent. That's what we want. We don't want to be able to see where the bubbles were. That one, I think, is just the most noticeable one, where you can still see where I poked it with the needle. But other than that, they're pretty much gone. And of course, we've got a bunch of garbage up here from where the trees have shed on it. It's summertime, so. But the bubbles are pretty much gone, and you can't even really see where they were. So just wanted to put this in there so that y'all can see the results after you pop it. After a little while, what the sun will do, it will shrink down those little remaining air pockets and collapse those bubbles down, and you're left with a really good looking decal. I think that other bubble was right here, now that I've been looking at it for a minute. Right there, can barely see it. I mean, I had a hard time finding it. So there we are. Those are the results. That's what you can expect once you pop those bubbles and let it sit in the sun for a little while. Hope this is helpful for some of you guys. We'll go ahead and close out the video. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. If you like this video or other videos, our channel, please hit that like or subscribe button down below. Leave a comment. But other than that, that's all we've got for today. So until the next video, take care.